What up? What up? Welcome back to the channel. I'm J and we are locked in. This is the recap for episode 3 of 0 Day. Reapers. No Russians. Proteus. Oh man. We know what we're looking for. We just gotta go and find it. But they're telling us that Proteus ain't gonna be what they think it is. So I don't know what George is gonna do, but let me tell you, if he starts flipping out and starts playing mind tricks on himself, I'm sure we'll be headed in the right direction. Now, before we jump into this and break down episode 3, if you like thrillers, mystery, trying to figure out what the hell is actually going on type of shows, then 0 Day might be something for you. And like I said, Robert De Niro's in it. You gotta watch it. But go ahead, if you like this kind of content, hit that subscribe button, turn on your notification bell so you get something every time I upload. Make sure you hit that like button. I'm on that road to 75,000 subscribers, so I appreciate each and every one of you. But let's jump into it. This is 0 Day, episode 3, and I'm not even sure what day it is in the actual series. It might be like 0 Day, day 6. I'm not for sure. Hell, all the days are running together. But let's go ahead and jump into it, episode 3. We start off episode 3 with the Evan Green show. And of course, he's on Georgia again, talking about, does George really know what he's doing? Is he competent enough to try to figure this out? Is this just a ploy? Why haven't we heard of the Reapers? The Russians would probably be something that we need to dig into, but the Reapers? The lamestream media, they're just going to cover this because, oh, they love George. But George isn't really like that. I don't think we can trust anything that George is saying. So what we see with Evan Green is he's just going to be out here doing whatever the hell he wants. Whatever his subscribers want, he's just going to feed into the conspiracy. So what we see next? Carl, he done got some warrants. George looks at him. You got anything to say, Carl? Carl's like, sir, we don't need this. And these are warrants for him, a judge. He just got to sign off on them. Because remember, they pretty much got free range, immunity to do whatever the heck they want to. But he's like, we're going to sign off on them and we're going to start catching anyone we think is associated with these Reapers. As I said in episode 2, it's a lot of pressure on Roger. And the reason for that is because he's supposed to find this body, but he talked to the mother and she said, yeah, they buried their daughter. Now George is talking about, are you for sure? Can they confirm? Was it really her? He wants Roger to go to the extreme now. And when I mean the extreme, go dig the body up. Now, you know that is illegal, but hey, this is the 0 Day commission. They don't have any rules. There's really no law for them. If this means solving a case, they can do it. So Roger's sitting there like, oh my goodness, come on, sir. This is just, oh my goodness. George is paying attention to the media. Now, you got some people talking about the Reapers. Who are they? They're trying to do their own research. You have the Speaker of the House talking about maybe this Reapers is just the tip of the iceberg. We really don't know what George is doing over there because remember, George isn't testifying or doing anything. He's just doing his job. And then, of course, Evan Green is on. And Evan Green still going in and not letting George get off the hook. I just don't know if George is capable of doing this. Blaming people that we don't even know. The Speaker of the House is talking to Alex and he's pretty much telling her, you wanted to get from up under your father's shadow. You wanted people to turn their head from your personality on Instagram with your 3-4 million followers you got, and you wanted them to know you for what you've done. Now, who's actually been there to support you? So you got to remember, when it comes to politics, just because we see people dislike each other on TV, they all know each other behind the scenes. They either went to school together, they served on some type of board, they were lawyers, they didn't win against each other. So all of these people know each other on a personal level. And of course, with her being the president's daughter, the Speaker of the House, he's been around for so long, he knew her as she grew up. And he's basically saying, you need to get right and you need to be checking on your dad. Just like the mass deportation that we have going on now, this lady is saying that her son was taken from the house in the middle of the night doing one of these Reaper sweeps. So they're raiding houses. Anyone they think is in connection with these Reapers, they're snatching them up and they locking them up. But this lady is saying, hey, my son was 17 years old, 16 years old. He didn't have anything to do with this and they took him in the middle of the night. So of course, you know, it's never going to be 100%, but now there's a lot of media scrutiny like, hey, the hell with this commission. They ain't playing fair. This is illegal. Evan Green, he's actually exposing people too. He's talking about Robert Linden. We know that billionaire that was talking to Roger. He's like, he shorted the market right before 0 day happened. Does he have something to do with this? Is he involved in it? We really don't know what's going on. I'm sitting here like, rich billionaire shorted the market right before it happened. Suspect. You know me. I make everybody a suspect until we remove them from the board. In TV and movies, we can't trust anybody. And look at that smirk on Linden. Can't trust him. Alex is checking in on her dad, the Speaker of the House, and put a fire up under her. That minor, a lot of blowback. The media, the lady, everyone's going crazy. So she's talking to her dad like, is any of this justified? He was like, well, kind of technically, yeah, it is. But we doing what we got to do. It's only been a couple of days. So then she's like, what about the minor? He's like, we can't verify that just quite yet. She's like, what the hell are y'all doing over here? So pretty much she's telling her dad, you need to get this stuff together. But hey, man, he doesn't have to testify. He doesn't have to do anything. So for him, his sole purpose of being here is to find out who committed 0 day. Roger goes out to verify the body. Now they dug it up, and you hear the people talking, man, this is illegal. He's like, yeah, don't worry about it. We'll wave our magic wand. But remember, she got hit by a train and the whole vehicle, boom, exploded. So her body is all burnt up. So Roger's like, all right, get a cheek swab. And when he calls George, George is not caring. He's like, is it her? Can you confirm? He's like, we're running the cheek swab, the DNA, and this is all I can do right now, sir. George is really adamant to make sure he wasn't tripping because he swore he saw her after the car blew up. Poor Roger. Nathan ends up meeting up with Roger, and remember, he's like a thief in the night, very silent, but he knows and has his ear to the street. And he's basically telling Roger, tell George to fall back. You're not going to be able to figure this out, man. It's not who you think it is. I'm about to go ghost and get the hell up out of here. Roger, you should do the same, and tell George he needs to lay low too, because there's no way you're going to figure this out. So Nathan just thinks that this is just impossible. But I'm with him. If he told me I need to get low, I'm getting low. You ain't going to hear or see from me anymore. With that being said, poor Roger. One of the people that they captured was a guy by the name of Eric Hayes. Now, George sees this and he's like, who we got interrogating them? Let me go on down there. Now, he reads his file. And one thing that he noticed that stuck out is Eric, he had the same quote that Evan Green has been saying. So George, he does a little deep dive. Oh, I see you served in the military. I read your book. Okay, some good stuff. But the quote that you said is a little bit off. And he's starting to link everybody to somebody. And since he said the same quote that Evan Green did, he's like, okay, let me start checking in on Evan Green. But Mr. Hayes, we're going to talk to you for a little bit also, because we going to need some answers. George, I'm talking about mental gymnastics. He's talking about when his son passed away 12 years old. And as you get older, you tend to remember things a little bit differently. Now you hear Valerie talking about cut the cameras, because what George is about to do, they call this mind F-U-C-K. He got Eric in here like, wait a minute. Well, I do remember, but I don't remember. Eric's like, I want my lawyer. He's like, oh yeah. You'll get your lawyer, all right, but not till I get done with you. George, he ain't playing around. That's what we want to see. George gives him an ultimatum. You got 10 minutes. Your father, we'll go ahead and cut him off his Medicare. Your son, we'll go ahead and put him in foster care. Your girlfriend, we'll go ahead and get her the hell up out of here. So now they done applied that pressure to Eric. When you sitting in here and it's just you and those four walls, they done cut the cameras too. George ain't playing around. Remember, they pretty much got immunity. He's like, you got 10 minutes. If not, everybody you love, R.I.P. Damn. Poor Roger. He gets a call and has to go meet up with Mr. Linden, our billionaire friend. And when he gets there, he's like, hey, is everything all right, Roger? Is everything going fine? Roger's like, yeah, he's drinking a little bit of that cognac, maybe some scotch. But what he ends up doing is giving Roger a foul. And there's some photos of Eric Hayes, who's locked up. And guess who's in those photos? R.I.P. Anna. She's in these pictures. And also, guess who got some wire money sent to him? Roger. So pretty much Roger has to do whatever Lyndon says because he's been collecting money from him. Roger's playing both sides and he's dirty right now. So what he has to do is give these photos to George to throw George off of any case or any scent leading towards Lyndon, because the Russians are already off the book. Poor Roger, but you got yourself in this situation. Well, Eric made the right decision and he gave them some information. Look, I don't know everything, but there's some stuff in Idaho. I sent some stuff and that's where they're supposed to meet up at. He was spooked. So after George gets this and they send out the task force to go find out what the hell's going on in that rural area, he starts hearing noise. What? Who killed Bambi? Who killed Bambi? I'm like, no, we don't need to start this again. I'm fine with the hallucinations, but who killed Bambi? We don't know who killed Bambi. We don't know, George. We need to figure out 0 day. But George, he going through it. Roger delivers the photos to George. They found a whole network system up in Idaho in a barn. Now, these photos, we see Anna in the same photos as Eric, and Eric had the same quote as Evan Green. So he's like, listen, Roger, keep this between us. But what I need you to do in the last couple of years, find every time that Eric Hayes was in the same area as Evan Green, because he's trying to get that connection. We see that Anna's in these photos. We know about the Reapers. And if he's using those quotes, then they must be doing something together. Who killed Bambi keeps popping up. And this time, who's seeing it? It ain't George, it's Roger. So before Roger leaves, he's in the room and he sees Boss's black book. Now we know he writes down everything. So he's going through there trying to figure stuff out, because we know Roger's playing both sides. He's with billionaire Lyndon. He trying to throw off of George, and he finds out who killed Bambi. What does Bambi have to do with 0 day? He's just as confused and who killed who Bambi? Is that code word for something? But now it has him wondering, what the hell? Maybe George isn't all the way there. Roger's stressed out. They're trying to stop George from getting Evan Green, but Evan Green don't think you gonna skate up out of this, because George is on your case. Roger shows up to Alex's house. She didn't already talk to the speaker of the house. Everybody's like, what the heck are they doing trying to link Mr. Hayes to Evan Green? Now, you see Roger, tie undone, shirt unbuttoned. He's stressing out because those $10,000 payments he got from billionaire Lyndon, oh man, if this pops up, it's going to be bad for him. So he probably knows that his days are numbered before he's exposed. And of course, he's trying to get him some. I don't blame him if you know you about to get locked up. Well, they went and locked up Evan Green also. I told you they was on your trail. Now, throughout this series, we've been seeing him hallucinating, talking about George. And one time, he looked at the TV and he was like, yeah, Georgie, you're an idiot. You don't know what you're doing. But he was tripping out. So now we see Evan. He's sitting in here locked up. Don't know when his next meal is going to be, if he's ever going to see sunlight. George kneels down and says, who's the idiot now? Evan's like, what the hell is he talking about? But he's locked up. Good luck. All right, there you go. Episode 3 is 0 day. If you were Evan Green, what are your thoughts when you sitting in that damn cell and he comes in and he says, who's the idiot now? What are you talking about? What do you mean? Who is the idiot? I don't know. I didn't do anything. I graduated. I got a GED. I got a diploma. I'm not an idiot. What am I doing here? He's scared as hell, but we're going to find out what happens to him in episode 4. I'm Mo.J. If you like this kind of content, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching. I'm out.
Jimmy on the beat, boy.